Hello, oh, oh, oh. Hello chat, hello chat, hello chat, j'espère que vous allez bien. Hop. Alors, je voulais regarder le LAIC, mais c'est aujourd'hui. Attends, c'est aujourd'hui le dernier jour, je savais pas. Et ben on le regardera demain du coup. On le regardera demain. Mince, c'est pas grave. Par contre, j'ai regardé un peu le Day One hors stream, parce que j'avais rien à faire. Et vu que ça c'était en live, je me suis dit, je vais regarder. Et j'ai vu, les gars, j'ai vu le match de Théo Team contre Dylan Quinones. C'est Dylan. Hmm, je sais plus si c'est Dylan, mais c'était Quinones. Ils étaient tous les deux en 3-0. Théo Team, comment il est fort, les gars. Théo Team, c'est le GOAT. Théo Team, le GOAT. Par contre, du coup, vu qu'il n'y a pas le LA ici, je sais pas trop ce qu'on va faire. Je sais pas trop ce qu'on va faire. Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas d'autres Pokémon VGC? Las Vegas, on a déjà vu. Et franchement, la finale, c'était incroyable. Il y a eu retournement de situation et tout. Elle est ici. Yu-Gi-Oh! Ok. Hmm. On l'a déjà vu, la finale des Worlds. Pokémon Champion, le début de la fin. Pourquoi? Pourquoi ce serait le début de la fin? On va regarder ça. Terra. Terra, c'est pas la marque de bière? Ah si. Je me suis bien
I'm
dit.
going to start this by saying I'm excited about Pokemon Champions. I think it's going to lead to some of the most exciting few years of Pokemon VGC ever. We'll have a huge audience, the accessibility will be better than ever, and it just looks fun. But honestly, I have some concerns about what comes after that. Let's break it down. This video is going to be pretty different than what I normally make, because usually I talk about VGC, I'm talking about a specific tournament, or a specific team, or a player's run, or an archetype or something, but today I'm going to be talking about the sort of stuff outside the actual battles.
Ok.
Today, I'm going to talk about how I think Pokemon Champions might actually be VGC's tomb. For starters, why is Pokemon Champions important for competitive players? Why are we all so excited about it? Well, the truth is, even with the size of the Pokemon World Championships this year, and competitive Pokemon getting bigger and better than ever before, we are still a teeny, tiny little, puny little fraction of the player base. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold over 27 million copies, and from what I can tell, less than 19,000 people earned any play points last season, which are rewarded to your Pokemon account if you compete in any official event at any level. This means that last season, 0.07% of people who have bought Pokemon Scarlet and Violet played an official event. Not 7%, 0.07%. Now, it's worth noting that not every region uses play points, most of Asia, including Japan, don't, and of course it doesn't factor in things like... J'ai regardé la finale justement de la Ligue coréenne, et franchement c'était stylé, hein. C'était stylé. Bon, c'est à peu près le même style de jeu un peu partout, mais franchement, ils jouaient hyper bien. Je savais pas qu'en Corée ils jouaient aussi bien. Ah si, je savais, parce qu'ils ont des bons joueurs. Mais franchement, souvent quand on parle... Quand on parle de Pokémon VGC, c'est souvent Italie, États-Unis, Japon. literally missed it when
Mais
Scarlet and
franchement, la
Violet
Corée,
came out,
vraiment fort.
and it just wasn't there anymore. But I can guarantee you the vast majority of people who have played Sword and Shield didn't even know there was a spectator mode then, and certainly didn't notice that it was missing now. If the feature requires extra work to implement, and less than 1% of the audience is going to use it, then what's the point? This is why I personally think we never got the rusty bottle cap that competitive players have wanted for a long time, which, if you don't know, this is what people have been calling an item that would potentially, decrease your Pokemon's IVs. And the reason I think we'll ever get it is because, while, in PvE challenges, like a difficult raid, you may want to EV train your Pokemon or give it a beneficial nature or something to make it stronger. But in a PvE environment, there's really no reason you'd ever want to lower your Pokemon's stats, because lowering your IVs only comes up in super specific scenarios, like Trick Room or Foul Play. Implementing this item that the casual player who doesn't, enter regionals would never use is just kind of a waste of development time right now. But it's never a waste? Checking out the sponsor of today's video, Aniba.com. Aniba is an absolutely massive digital marketplace for games and gaming products with over 40,000 digital products available. You can where Pokemon Champions comes in. The game is very clearly designed to be for the competitive player.
Voilà, c'est juste battre, on se bat.
Something probably went pretty wrong. With a game focused only on competitive battling, features that may have seemed superfluous before because they're, quote, only useful for competitive play, become the whole point. And that's why we're seeing things like sliders for stat points and unlocking held items and having to grind out a whole big game to get them and stuff like that. And I do want to reiterate again that I am excited for these things.
More flexible and convenient than ever.
Yes! God, thank you! I think they're good for competitive Pokemon battling, and I want what's good for competitive Pokemon battling. If they were just taking competitive Pokemon to Champions and everything else was staying the same, I really wouldn't be thinking twice about it. But that isn't what really seems to be happening here. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about the Legends series, because they're actually a big part of my concern. Now, a while ago, I described the Legends series as where I think they'll experiment with different ways to explore the world of Pokemon. Legends Arceus had their sort of pseudo-open map, pseudo-turn-based combat system, and their out-of-battle catching.
J'ai pas joué aux légendes.
Experience of the typical Pokemon RPG. The battling didn't feel super fleshed out, but that wasn't really the point of the game. There are very few mandatory battles in Legends Arceus. In contrast, Pokemon Legends ZA has a whole plot around you entering into huge Pokemon tournament with 26 whole ranks to climb. Now, I'd put money on you not actually needing to climb each rank individually during the story, but it's still a really big focus of the game, at least it seems. Not only that, but they've highlighted over and over and over, arguably more than the exploring or the catching. They've been focusing on this new combat system they're implementing, which is, if you haven't seen it, this real-time system where your Pokemon are running around actively dodging attacks and trying to aim to land their own. The system looks really cool, and it's a lot more in-depth than what we saw in Pokemon Legends Arceus, so it makes sense why they're pushing it. But with something more complicated like that, I really doubt we'll only see it once, and something tells me this system might be what we get for the next few games, including the next few mainline Pokemon games, which is where my concern comes in. There have been rumors floating around for a while that the next core Pokemon game actually won't use the classic battling system, instead using something more like Pokemon Legends ZA's system. And again, with the emphasis they've been putting on the new battling system, and just the fact that it just seems like a waste to use for a one-off title, I really do believe this is possible, and my concerns became even greater recently. During September, there was a Nintendo Direct that revealed a bunch of new Mega Evolutions, including Mega Forms of all three of the Kalos stars.
Pour l'instant, ils vont pas sortir un jeu
Mega Chestnut,
d'ici peu, donc...
After the Direct, it was revealed that these Mega Pokemon were not going to be obtainable through normal gameplay of Pokemon Legends ZA, but only through their ranked PvP system, locking what are sure to be 3 extremely popular and desirable Pokemon behind the PvP rank system of the game seems pretty strange for me, unless of course you have a reason to push a game's PvP. This makes me believe that once Legends ZA is out, there will be a good amount of incentives to encourage people to play PvP, perhaps even culminating in these real-time style Pokemon battles being added to the official competitive circuit. Now, this being added to the circuit wouldn't be a bad thing for VGC by itself. After all, there are already so many other competitive Pokemon games that get played at each Worlds, and they're all different enough that they don't really step on each other's toes, in my opinion. The problem is the potential combination of factors here. Allow me to spell out what is, in my opinion, the worst possible scenario. Pokemon Legends Z comes out, it's a big hit. The online PvP is popular.
Le seul problème dans les Worlds, c'est que tous les jeux Pokémon sont différents, donc Unite, Pokémon Go, TCG et VGC, c'est tout différent. Mais s'ils veulent en mettre un, il faut qu'ils en amènent un des uns, sinon ça va être trop long.
As a way to mix up the mainline game formula. People seem to like the way it plays, so sure, why not? And those of us who have always been playing VGC continue to just plug along on Champions. The tournaments are starting to get smaller, but that's to be expected after all the hype of Champions release died down. A year or so later, it gets smaller again, and again, and again. Eventually, Generation 11 comes out, and because people seem to love the new battling system, they keep it again. And what's left of us on Pokemon Champions continue to play at smaller and smaller regionals.
Non.
The people who started playing Pokemon in Generation
Je pense pas qu'ils abandonneront,
ils
abandonneront jamais le style là de
Farther
combat.
down the line, the Pokemon Company starts to notice Pokemon Champions isn't doing so well, and the game, like any other failing product, is shut down. Competitive Pokemon battling as we know it is back to the state it was in before Journey Across America. Unofficial battles played just for fun and bragging rights. Now, of course, this is an absolutely worst case scenario, but it's outside the realm of possibility, and I do want to emphasize, if, God forbid, this happened, this wouldn't mean Pokemon did something wrong, or evil, or bad. It's just something that kind of happens to games eventually. I, for one, used to play this game called Guild Ball, and it was my favorite game. I played it competitively, and eventually the popularity dwindled, with factors inside the company's control, but it went through its life cycle, and the game stopped being made and supported, and that
Pokémon, ça fait 40 ans qu'ils sont...
to the vast majority of games eventually. For a long time, VGC was sort of strapped to the back of the mainline Pokemon games. They were the most important piece, but it was always there. Now that we've been sort of pushed out of the nest and are being given our own independent game to exist on, we'll have to sink or swim on our own merit. There won't accidentally be 27 million people with the game they need to try VGC already downloaded. And with less and less Pokemon games focusing on the classic battling style, we may find ourselves in a situation where the amount of ways a person can become interested in VGC become fewer and farther between.
Non, parce que si le jeu il est gratuit, ce qui devrait le faire, il n'y aura pas de problème. C'est ça. Un autre sur Pokémon Champion. Regardez Pokémon Champion là. Je veux voir toutes les infos.
왜 인식이 안 되지?
화장이 잘 안 먹었습니다. 각질부터 제거하시겠습니까?
파 10% 함유로 파워풀하게 각질 제거 후 수분을 충전해 화장 밀착. 파워풀 화잘먹. 마몽드 로즈 리퀴드 마스크.
Pokemon Champions is one of the most exciting things that the Pokemon Company has announced in recent memory. But we don't actually have that much information, which has left me with some critical concerns. First of which is metagame rotation. Generally speaking, the VGC format increases in power over the course of a generation, starting with only regular Pokemon available in the base game, then allowing powerful legendaries or non-native Pokemon to be transferred from past generations. Then this all resets when a new game comes out. They could keep this in Champions, directly linking the formats to whatever the Gen 10 games use. But I suspect that part of the reasons we're getting Champions is so that the core series games can experiment more with the battle system without ruining things for all of us who love playing turn-based competitive battles. So they may not be able to follow the main games forever. In that case, Champions will need to come up with its own way to cycle formats.
Ouais.
Is that they keep doing whatever they
C'est vrai,
do
c'est vrai.
now,
S'ils veulent garder les formats, il faudra trouver un truc.
repeating this cycle ad infinitum. The biggest fear is that the power level never resets and we end up playing restricted formats forever, but this is pretty unrealistic. So my actual biggest fear is that they only ever provide restrictions based on power level and never restrict which low and mid-level Pokemon are available. How it has worked for a long time now is that year 1 of a generation is just the regional decks of the new games. Year 2 introduces transfer Pokemon, and Year 3 introduces restricted Pokemon. Without regional decks, that first year of the format might look very different, making the variety between individual metas dependent solely on the new Pokemon that get introduced to the generation, and whichever generational gimmicks are legal. I think this would become pretty stale, and would hold Champions back in my view. We're already seeing repeat regulations in Scarlet and Violet with no changes, and while there are differences between regulations G and H 1.0 and 2.0, because there's no such thing as a solid Pokemon meta, I do not want to see formats repeated in Champions outside of special once-in-a-while formats that deliberately revisit fan-favorite formats for a short while. My hope is that they phase out groups of Pokemon from time to time to introduce more variety. This could be the highest usage Pokemon, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, as long as it shifts the meta enough to feel different. If you're excited for Champions and competitive Pokemon discussion, you should subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to continue making content for viewers just like you, and it's the best way to let YouTube know that that's what you want. Thank you. The next concern is not make or break for the game, but I think it's something that will go a long
Donc ouais, faut qu'ils changent les méta assez souvent quand même.
in the long term. I want other metagames. For anyone who doesn't know, other metagames are formats hosted on Pokemon Showdown, which allow you to use Pokemon in ways which are normally impossible. This includes metagames like Pokabilities, where a Pokemon can have all of its abilities at once, or Statmons, where a Pokemon can use any move of any type that it has. Palafin could use Surging Strikes, for example. or Tapu Koko could finally have good physical stab with Play Rough and Plasma Fist. While crazy metagames like Terra Override are very much out of the question, and
je pense déjà dans Champion, il y aura le 1v1 et le 2v2, ça c'est sûr. Après, je sais pas ce qu'ils pourraient mettre d'autre.
Would be very, very fun for the game, and I just hope it happens. This is probably just wishful thinking, but it would make me love the game a whole lot more, especially because all the cool metagames on Showdown are locked to singles, and I personally hate playing singles. So please give us at least almost ending ability or something. But moving on to a more real concern. While we know EVs are able to be set manually, we haven't seen anything in the game mentioning IVs yet. The overwhelming likelihood is that they will be phased out of the game, with all Pokemon having perfect IVs in all stats. In fact, the Gardevoir we see in the promotional material does have the stats of a level 50 Gardevoir with perfect IVs.
Ouais, mais des fois c'est mieux de baisser.
With there being no visible mechanism to adjust IVs implies this is how it will be, just everyone set to max. This is better than how IVs exist now, with no ability to adjust them downward, forcing players to mindlessly reset if they want optimal Pokemon with lowered attack, speed, or HP. While I personally think the ability to adjust your Pokemon stats for very specific interactions, like 4 attack IV Gothitelle or 21 speed IV Heatran, let me know if you know which teams those are from, is a part of team building that I don't want to see go away, it's an okay sacrifice if it means that part of the grind is gone. There is one possibility that scares me though. Pokemon can be transferred in from Pokemon Home, and if their IVs transfer over too, then we'll be in the same situation we are in now. This would be a generational fumble for Champion, as the ability to skip the grind that many people dislike in Pokemon, especially given the lack of transparency the game has when it comes to EVs and IVs, is one of the main appeals of the new game. Fortunately, we had trended towards in-game Pokemon being easier to competitively train for years, so we know the developers are aware of how rough things are. Meaning there's got to be no way that they mess this up. They're thinking about competitive players. They're thinking about us. They're not just going to leave us behind like this. I just want confirmation that IVs are either dead or manually adjustable. Even if they aren't at launch, player feedback will probably make them change things in a patch down the line. Speaking of patches, Pokemon has never had balancing patches. Nerfs and buffs come when a new generation launches, changing some moves, effects, and Pokemon that were particularly strong in the prior gen. We saw this with Regieleki and Zacian getting nerfed when introduced to Scarlet and Violet. During a generation, there aren't changes made to rein in particularly strong Pokemon outside of bug fixes like we saw when Booster Energy Photosynthesis and Quark Drive got changed to be effective by neutralizing gas. The most we typically will see is Pokemon getting new moves when a DLC or new game releases. The infrequent nature of changes to individual Pokemon creates an ebb and flow within a given format where something becomes very strong, then teams adapt to those strong strategies, causing them to become weaker, and something else strong will rise up to take its place. This also allows players to discover techs that really disrupt the meta, like Chartyberry on Charizard back in Sword and Shield. If we have balance patches, this core part of Pokemon will look very different, and I think whether it's good or bad comes down to frequency. If balance changes come too frequently, then I think it will take away from the team building skills of players that are able to build teams which can fight the dominant meta threats. But there are definitely things like certain max moves or Dark Void that probably would have been better off getting nerfed mid-generation. I hope they take it slow and only make changes in between formats at the very fastest. Also, this isn't really a concern, but I do hope we get Sleep Claws or a Sleep Nerf and Freeze just removed. My last concern is probably the most realistic and actually has nothing to do within the game itself. Right now, VGC tournaments are larger than they have ever been. Every year, we'll see a new largest tournament of all time with well over 1,000 players. If things keep going like this, it's only a matter of time before we begin to see things creep past 2,000 or 3,000. However, I do not personally believe that things can keep going like this. Tournaments have a logistical limit to how many people and players can realistically enter. Whether it be due to venue size, security concerns, or the amount of staff required to host giant in-person tournaments, there is some limit to the amount of people that can enter a tournament. Pokemon Champions is likely to bring the accessibility needed to get tons of people playing official competitive Pokemon, which is an incredible thing that I'm very excited for. But those people are going to need somewhere to play. And with how quickly tournaments fill up now before the release of Champions, it might be incredibly difficult to even get into enough tournaments to hit the best finish limit for Worlds. This is my biggest concern for champions.
C'est vrai que
Considering
si...
the existence of
Oula,
champions
allô?
implies that
Ok.
Pokemon is willing to invest more
Allô?
into the VGC scene, I think they will
Allô,
have
allô, allô?
something to address this that they are working on behind the scenes. Worst case, this affects Worlds 2026 and 2027.
Non, c'est bon, on est bon.
After that, some necessary
Ok, ça
adjustments
marche.
should be made.
Ouais,
if
du
it
coup,
becomes as big
c'est
of
vrai
an
que
issue
si
as I'm fearing. And
ils mettent
that's
champion,
it. Let me know
et
what
du coup, il
concerns
y a
you have
beaucoup
for
de
the
gens
game,
qui s'y
if you
mettent.
agree, or if you think I might be...
Attends. Il y a beaucoup de gens qui se mettent au jeu. Du coup, ils vont devoir créer plus de place pour les tournois IRL, sur place. Comment ils vont faire? Parce que déjà, là, c'est déjà chaud, c'est déjà compliqué. Donc, il faut soit qu'ils créent de nouveaux tournois, soit qu'ils fassent que des tournois en ligne, et que ceux qui sont qualifiés pour le tournoi en ligne, ils aient les places pour aller en présentiel. Mais du coup, s'ils peuvent pas et qu'ils sont qualifiés, ouais, ça peut être compliqué, hein. Ça peut être compliqué. Ça peut être compliqué. Pokémon champion. C'est vrai que ça peut, ça se voit, ça se voit, ça se voit. Et récemment. Y a pas. Pokémon Go, c'est Boomata. Pokémon Go avec gros doudou. Pourquoi ils mettent du Pokémon Go? Ah, c'est Pokémon Champions. Ouais, non, faut pas mettre. Je veux parler de Pokémon Champions. Je pense que je pourrais changer Pokémon pour toujours. Je crois qu'on a déjà vu. Futur. Which Pokémon will dominate? En vrai, les Pokémon qui domineront, c'est toujours les mêmes. Oh, Pokémon.
Oh, there'll be seasons, obviously, Sam. The cool thing about Champions is we don't have to wait for a new generation for them to buff stuff. The bad thing is, I don't know if that means they're actually gonna still not wait for a new generation to buff stuff, you know? I feel like they're just... Pokemon is very slow with things. They gotta put me in charge of Champions. I'm gonna put all the broken... This month, Togedemaru month. Every team must have a Togedemaru, or your account gets banned. Togedemaru month is only ended after 2 days. We'd like to apologize for Pokemon D, who we removed from the council. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna have a ukulele, make my apology video. I don't think Champions is gonna destroy Showdown at all. So I also agree that people have a higher expectation of Champions, but I also think it's gonna be really good for the future competitive Pokemon for about 2 years, 2-3 years. And
Okay.
then I think as Generation 10, 11, 12, you know, in like 6 to 9 years come out, and if I'm still around doing this, which I'd love to, we'll notice like the graphical difference that's like kind of hitting us, and like, why am I playing on this game while everything else looks like that game? But I also think because it is a phone game, it's easy to pull updates and stuff. I hate that. And you can never leave Pokemon. I mean, I'll do this as long as I can. I love Mons. There might be seasonal changes. I think so too, but I'm thinking more, it's less about like the updates in the season and what they're actually playing, and more so, oh, you agree, Blue. I agree, Blue, completely. But also the fact that like it's gonna look so different. Like they need to have constant support. But then I look at Pokemon Unite, right? Pokemon Unite gets a bunch. There's nothing like Pokemon Unite. I guess there's nothing to compare Pokemon Unite to. But like I look at Pokemon Unite, and Pokemon Unite is a fun game. But like it's looked the same forever, right? And that's not that it looks bad. The base of it looks looks fine. And I think Champions, the base of it looks fine too. But like if we're at a point where like Generation 11, Generation 12 is AAA style, which is not going to be with Pokemon, but if it is, it's going to take a lot for me to be like, okay, this is the only place I can actually battle. Obviously, I can do Showdown, and we can do whatever the hell we want with Showdown, but like, the graphical difference is going to be crazy.
Ok. Il parle des graphiques là surtout.
I mean, they have usage. I was hoping Challenge doesn't kill the chance of us getting another Battle Royale Shooter Stadium game. I wish we could get XD Dial Darkness 2. Actually, why is it released another Dallas-based spin-off game since XD? You think they'd be interested in getting people interested? I agree.
Ok. Il a pas dit grand chose, quoi.
So a few weeks ago, we had the second Pokemon Presents, which happened on July 22nd, and it gave us some more news on Pokemon Legends.
Attendez, je veux juste voir un truc.
So a few weeks ago,
Le Vénard. Excellent. Aïe, 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 y a pas de rondoudou. Allez, report. On les reporte, on les reporte. Les gars, faut les report, faut aller voir Pokémon Company et leur dire chaque vidéo, vous nous mettez un rondoudou là, sinon ça va pas.
It is essentially going to be a new battle simulator type of game, similar to Pokemon Battle Revolution and Pokemon Stadium, where it's mainly just about having really heated Pokemon battles, but a lot of people are thinking that this is probably also going to be the direction that the entire Pokemon competitive scene and VGC is going to be moving towards, as that way it can allow for the main generation games to be more kind of creative and not have to worry that much about the VGC, as that's all now going to be handled on a different game. Now, we had a lot of questions about Pokemon Champions and what things are going to be able to do inside of the game, and to be honest, we still have a lot of questions that are still unanswered, but that Pokemon Presents did give us some more information and a look at some of the features of this game, and it made a lot of people very excited because it's actually looking to be exactly what people have been asking for, in the sense of a Pokemon game where you can just straight up customize the stats of your Pokemon. There's sliders to like move your stats up and down and customize them how you want. You can change the moves for your Pokemon, the abilities, the natures. It is basically the fully customized game that people have been asking for.
Right.
And of course, while there was a lot of excitement as everybody was watching this inside of the Pokemon Presents, there was still some skepticism too, because we didn't really know exactly how all of this worked. Is there going to be a limit to how many you can customize? Is it going to be done in kind of a scummy way? Like, we still didn't know the exact breakdown of how all of that is going to be, and it wasn't actually until after this Pokemon Presents ended, and you look on the official Pokemon Champions website itself, that there's actually one sentence that, if you read that sentence, it literally saves the entire state of Pokemon Champions, and that's what makes me very excited and really looking forward to this game, and that's why I wanted to make an entire video just talking about Pokemon Champions, and so that's what we're going to do right now. Now, if you look closely at the footage where they show you all of the things that you can customize for your Pokemon, you can see here that you can change the stat points for your Pokemon and bring them up and down with the sliders here. You can customize the movesets for your Pokemon and teach them different attacks. You can even change like the nature for your Pokemon as well as the ability. And on all of these screens where you're changing stuff and customizing your Pokemon, if you look on the top right corner, you can see like there's like this V icon with a number next to it. And you can also see on all of these screens where you're changing stuff, it also tells you with that V icon basically how much it's going to cost, implying that this is going to be some type of currency that you're going to be using to do all of these changes on your Pokemon.
타이레놀. 누군가의 두통은 이를 향한 열정이고
누군가의 감기는 일상을 지키는 책임감이죠.
다양한 통증이 그 누구든 타이레놀이 케어합니다. 타이레놀 70주년.
What? Trop vite.
It also seems like that this V currency is going to be important in how you get Pokemon, as they also kind of talked a little bit about this, that you're going to be able to just straight up get Pokemon in Pokemon Champions by recruiting them. And you can see here on the screen where you've got like some Pokemon to choose from. You can do a trial recruitment where you basically add the Pokemon into your party for a week, but you can also spend 1,000 of this V currency to then have the Pokemon forever.
Wow.
Now this V currency, we later found out on the website, is known as victory points, and this is essentially what all of Pokemon Champions is going to revolve around, as if you want to get new Pokemon, it's going to cost VP. If you want to be able to customize things on your Pokemon, like the stats and stuff, that's all going to cost VP. So then, of course, the big question now becomes, how do you get VP? And this was the big thing that a lot of people were skeptical about and a little bit worried, because it's possible that they could have ruined this entire game before launch by just messing up exactly how to get VP and how all of that works, because there was a decent chance that a lot of people were thinking that they might have gone for kind of like the Pokemon Unite or free-to-play gacha game type of model, where essentially the game itself is free, but to get like all of these points to be able to do a lot of the main stuff inside of the game, that's all going to be baked with microtransactions. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys and just tell you how it is. If Pokemon Champions turned out to be a thing where the main way to get VP inside of this entire game was to have these things appear, where it would have been like, hey, do you want this much VP? That's going to be $10. If you want this much VP, it's going to be $20. This much is $40. And then if you want a lot of VP, it's going to be $100. This would have ruined the game immediately. Like day one, this game would have been dead
horrible.
on arrival. I would have lost all interest immediately if this is the model that they decided to choose, but thankfully, that's not what they decided. And here is where the title of the video comes into play, because if we look on the official Pokemon Champions website and scroll all the way to the bottom, we can see right here what sentence basically saved the entire game, as it says right here, VP cannot be directly purchased, so keep battling and gaining VP to power up your team even more. And just above it, it says victory points, or VP, can be gained from ranked battles and other places in Pokemon Champions. You'll need VP to recruit and train Pokemon. And so there it is. When I read this for the first time, I had the biggest sigh of relief, because this one sentence really just saved the entire game. This is what maximized my hype and interest for Pokemon Champions to the fullest, because this essentially confirms now that you are not going to be able to pay to win or be able to pay to have a bunch of VP, and that they're not having a microtransaction system around that main currency, and instead you're just going to have to play the game in order to obtain it. And this could not have been a better outcome, because what is every person who's going to get Pokemon Champions be a fan of? It's going to be having heated competitive Pokemon battles, and if that's all you need to do to then get VP, which is the main currency you need to do all
mais c'est
the
aussi
other
marqué
stuff like customizing
que
and getting more
le jeu
Pokemon,
est
that's
gratuit au
perfect,
début.
because essentially you just need to have one team, or maybe you can even like
Donc
use
c'est
somebody else's
bizarre
team
aussi.
if they have like rental codes or QR codes that you can scan to borrow somebody's team and stuff. And if that's the case, and if you can just battle with that for a little bit and just stack up a bunch of VP by battling other trainers and doing ranked battles and stuff, that's perfect, because that's essentially what everyone wants to do with this game. Like, you want to just be able to do ranked battles for hours and hours, and if that's going to get you thousands of VP that you can then use to customize Pokemon further and get new Pokemon, that is literally the perfect gameplay loop. And so yeah, Pokemon Champions just seems like a huge W all around for anybody who likes having competitive Pokemon battles, whether you play them casually or if you do them competitively with VGC or singles. It just seems like they really thought about everything, and they're not trying to just do like a really easy way of making this like super scummy to make a bunch of money, and I'm really happy that that's what they decided. Now, I have seen some critiques about Pokemon Champions as well, and it seems like the main thing that most people are focusing on is that they're a little bit disappointed that the attack animations and the Pokemon models themselves are really similar to how they look in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and
Moi, ça, je m'en
essentially
fous.
just taken from those games and moved into Pokemon Champions, where if you remember like these battle simulator games that we've had in the past, the models that you had in like Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Battle Revolution and the attack animations were always significantly better than what you got in the main series games. And I totally understand, because if you do look at some of the animations for the Pokemon in Pokemon Battle Revolution, like Honchkrow literally like tips its hat when it faints, which I think is so cool. Really nice details like that are all throughout a lot of the Pokemon that are in there. And also a lot of the move animations just look really good too, and really highly detailed, but in this game it basically just looks like exactly how it does in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And so I can understand
Non, ça, je
why
m'en
some
fous.
people
Je m'en fous en
might
vrai
feel a little bit
des
disappointed
attaques.
by this, but I can
Pauvres
also
Jigglypuff.
understand why they decided to do this in Pokemon Champions, and it really just comes down to that Pokemon games right now, the main series ones, already use 3D models. See, when Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Battle Revolution came out, the main series games themselves were still using sprites. On the Game Boy or the DS, it didn't matter, the games themselves still had sprites, and we hadn't moved to 3D, which came after Pokemon X and Y on the 3DS. And after that, we've been using 3D models for every single main series Pokemon game, and by Generation 9 now, a lot of these models have gotten better and they've made them pretty nice, so it makes sense to just use those exact same
Oui,
models
ça
now
c'est
for
normal.
Pokemon
Si tu me
Champions
laisses les
because
attaques, tu
we
laisses
have over like
les
1,000
trucs, c'est normal.
Pokemon, and I'm sure all of these Pokemon are going to be in Pokemon
Il y en
Champions
a trop.
eventually, and so if they recreated every single Pokemon model from scratch with even higher details and textures specifically for Pokemon Champions, it just seems like such a huge waste of time, resources, and money because Pokemon Champions itself is also not going to be like a huge seller in terms of popularity because it is just going to be about competitive Pokemon battles, which is just a section of the entire Pokemon fan base, and not every single person is going to care about that. And if they don't, then they're
En
not
fait,
going to get this game to
faut que le
begin with.
jeu
So
soit
doing
gratuit.
all of that extra work, and especially for all of the attacks and everything
Gratuit,
too,
mais
it just
tout le temps. Faut
really
pas
seems
que,
like a waste,
genre
which is
pendant un
why
mois,
they
il soit
decided to just
gratuit.
bring
Après,
all
ils
the
disent
stuff that they
bon, bah
already
maintenant
have
que vous
into
avez vu le jeu
Pokemon
pendant un mois, il
Champions.
faut acheter le online
And at the end of the day,
et
I'm
tu te fais
playing this
baiser.
game for the battles themselves and being able to use like Mega
Mais du coup,
Evolution and Terastallizing
tout
and
le monde jouera
Dynamax
sur
and
téléphone
Fuse
parce
and
que
all
du
of
coup, la
that.
Switch, ce
That's
sera
gonna be the
payant.
cool stuff, and having like
Bah non, parce que
heated
même Pokémon
competitive
Unite.
battles. I'm not playing for the
Ah si,
Pokemon
Pokémon
models
Unite, tu joues tous sur
themselves or the
téléphone.
move animations or anything like that. So I'm really just looking forward to the game and the battles, and that's really kind of where all of my
Personne
excitement
joue sur
is
Switch.
for. But yeah, from all of this now, I'm pretty sure that Pokemon Champions is going to be a paid title, as it's not going to be relying on microtransactions, so I'm not expecting this game to be free to play. That would honestly really surprise me, and if that's the case, I don't know how they would expect to make money off of it, and they still do need to make money somehow, because there is obviously effort that went into this
Mais
game.
si
And
tu
so
veux,
I
si
think
tu
it
veux
is
mettre
just
des
gonna
trucs
be like
payants,
a straight up
tu mets
one-time
l'habit de
purchase.
ton,
You
les
buy
habits
the
de ton
game once, you
dresseur
download it from the
ou
eShop,
des
and then you have the game
accessoires sur ton
forever,
Pokémon
and you're
payants.
just gonna need like Switch Online to be able to do online battles, but all of the other stuff inside of the game itself with like the customizing and everything, that's just gonna come from playing the game and doing battles yourself, which is definitely the best outcome and the
Genre,
best thing
tu
that
mets
they
ça,
could
genre,
have done.
tu mets le jeu
And
full
yeah, I don't really
gratuit
expect any more news to
et tu
come
mets
out for
tous
Pokemon Champions
les
until Pokemon Day
esthétiques
next year, which is gonna be
sur
in
le
February
Pokémon,
of
sur,
2026. So I'm
sur
sure
les
that's when we're gonna get even
dresseurs,
more
tout
details
ce
about
qui
the
est
game,
esthétique,
probably like an actual
tu le mets
release
payant.
date, and maybe even like the pricing for exactly how much
Et là,
it's
tu fais
gonna
des
cost.
sous.
I do wonder if they're gonna really charge this full price at $60 or $70, or because it's just gonna be like a battle-focused game that they're gonna make it like $40 or a little bit cheaper instead. That will
Ou
be kind of interesting to see.
Ouais, c'est un
But
truc
yeah, if you
bizarre,
guys
mais
enjoyed the video,
tu peux acheter
definitely be sure to click that
avec
like
de l'argent
button and
des
also
boosts
subscribe to the channel as well.
de VP.
I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about Pokemon.
Ça,
So
t'achètes pas
be sure to
directement les
subscribe
VP,
so you
genre
don't miss
t'achètes
out
les
on that.
boosts.
Comment down below.
Et
Let me
par
know
exemple,
what you
t'achètes
think
3
about all of this.
boosts ou
Are
4
you
boosts
excited
pour,
for Pokemon Champions?
pour 5
Did
balles.
all of this stuff
Et
make
puis
you
voilà.
very happy too with how they're handling the VP currency and all of that? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about it, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at @actualarrows. You can be featured in videos.
Ouais,
And
faut voir.
also join my
Faut voir comment ils vont gérer ça. C'est une grande question, les gars. C'est la grande question. Qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire avec Pokémon Champion? Qu'est-ce qu'ils vont nous faire avec Pokémon Champion, les gars? Vous pensez quoi? Vous pensez quoi? Ça va être chaud, hein? Je pense que ça va être compliqué parce que il faut qu'ils mettent le jeu gratuit parce que ça va être sur téléphone. Un jeu payant sur téléphone, franchement, personne, non mais vraiment personne n'y joue. Mais du coup, en fait ils vont... Ah attends, il est gratuit. Oui, il est gratuit sur Switch. Pokémon Unite. C'est juste le online. C'est juste le online qui est payant sur Switch. Faut voir. Ah ouais. Attends, c'est Jalen Duran? Ouais, c'est Jalen Duran. Aïe 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 aïe. C'est compliqué, hein. Je vois pas. En fait, il faut vraiment qu'ils mettent le jeu gratuit. Et même si toutes les cosmétiques sont payants, c'est pas grave. Ils peuvent mettre toutes les cosmétiques genre hyper chères, on s'en fout. S'ils mettent le jeu payant, genre c'est ok. S'ils mettent le jeu gratuit, c'est ok du coup. C'est ok. Il faut voir ce qu'ils veulent en faire. Et ça va être le plus dur. Ça va être le plus dur. Parce que ouais, je vois pas. Je vois pas d'autres trucs qu'ils peuvent faire. Parce que qui va être fort, bah c'est les mêmes Pokémon que maintenant, tu vois. Il y a ça. Why switching isn't everything. Là, attends. Il joue sur quoi, sur Pokémon Showdown?
SGI 서울 보증은 쓰지. 기업들이 도전을 멈추지 않도록.
Pokia. Yo, what is up, big man? How you doing? Talk to me. Shout out to the channel. Shout out the channel.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Pokegame. I play competitive Pokemon. I do a lot of Pokemon Showdown. And just games in front.
What gen?
What gen? Every gen, bro. I can play every gen competitively.
You absolutely shit on Gen 5. Shit on you.
You want to play Gen 5 OU?
Gen 5 randomized, what do we call it?
Oh, randomized too. This boy can't even make a team to fight me.
I actually can't make a team. Why do you gotta call me out though? Just because I know how to make a team.
You're so tough for a second there, Ludwig.
I know, I can't do it, Charlie. I'm randomizer. I like the look of the roll. We'll do it sometime, Pokemon. I'm down.
What are you banning? What two are you banning?
We get the flip.
Oh, I mean, you can go first. I don't care.
Oh, okay. I will ban Gen 6 and 7.
I'll ban Gen 1 and 2.
Let's go Gen...
He's talking to chat. He just left. He just went on mute. He said, let's go Gen and left. Don't you want to play Gen 5? I thought that's what you really liked.
You like Gen 5.
I like Gen 5 too. I've been trying to play
I
some
think
time
Gen
on.
8 has a great amount of RNG.
You are not wrong. There's Dynamax for sure. No rush.
Let's do a Generation 5 random battle.
Hey!
Okay,
What's the
okay.
name of this?
I challenged you,
Uh,
I think.
are you...
Here, Coots.
Okay. Good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
Are you going on mute or are you staying here?
I mute.
Alright, good luck. Okay. Jesus, my team is bad.
Oh, ouais, sa team elle est horrible.
Okay, let's see. Actually, let's just do the exact same thing. Just gonna Willow. Yep, that's fine. Do the exact same thing. When I sub, I wasn't gonna break him because of a Violet anyway, so I didn't find a point in subbing just so he's gonna Nightshade next turn and break my sub. Well, this is
Okay.
5. He could have a Heatran. Let's get Chip. Jesus, man, that does so much.
Even.
If I can get him low, that'd be great.
Hmm.
Work out. I regenerate on this homie. I'm gonna go for game here. Find out what happens. My Dusclops can't wake up. I know he's about to bring up Mr. Broken or something. But this is a really good set.
Attends, mais ils ont tous les deux la même
Let's
team?
play, Ashley. We can burn something. He might burn me back and do like Nightshade stuff, but that's whatever. I just want to force the rest so I can actually do things. This is toxic. We do have Dusclops low, which is what I want. This is a game I actually want to win. Like, really badly. Get freaking predicted, low way. Tell your friends. Tell all your stream viewers.
Aïe, 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 aïe. Allez, Pokém! Montre-lui, montre-lui!
He can't touch me. He hand touched me. This club's just a sack at this point. Yeah, this is a tough matchup for sure. Oh my god.
Oh, il a pas le Kia.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying. V. Doesn't look the best right now. Okay, good damage, which is good.
Ah, c'est compliqué là. Il est un peu dans le mal.
This mon, man. Psychic kills with analytic boosts. This Registeel is gonna be annoying. Tuskos gets 2-shot. He Dragon Tailed me, which is fine. He expected Trick Room, thank God. Why into this Pokemon though? Oh my God, no. He's faster.
Aïe aïe aïe.
How am I how was I overthinking? There was no overthinking. He Dragon Tailed me. Where did I overthink? I'm trying to set up for a win. Game 1? What are you talking? Oh, this is game 1, yeah.
Il est dans le mal. Il est dans le mal.
Come on, dude. Seriously, man? I can't do anything. I can't do anything, bro. That roll was insane. I can't roll and calm mine up. He has Dragon Tail and Thunderbolt. Dude, if he didn't get that high roll, I kill Palkia. At least I can try. Holy crap. Nah, I'm not gonna. That's not the play. I get Overgrow right here. Righty doesn't burn me. I got rid of that threat, thank God. Goodbye, Shedinja. We get a rush, baby, let's go.
Incroyable, incroyable.
Yo! This dies. This dies, I'm an Overgrow. This dies.
Attends, mais il va sweep? Il va sweep?
I'm back. The protagonist is back.
Est-ce que ça tue? Est-ce que ça tue avec 6?
That was Life Orb.
Non, il a switch, ok.
Toxic. It's Life Orb, huh? Come on, little Ronan. There you go, buddy. There you go, little buddy. There you go, little buddy.
Double protect qui passe pas.
Okay, that's fine.
Ok, Sceptile il est plus rapide.
Unless he has quick attack, I'm good. Quick attack's definitely in the move pool though. Do I scout for quick? Yeah, I can't scout. Bro does not just win because he has Toxic on Registeel. Oh man. Maybe. If I can get burn, if I can get a Scald burn immediately, that'd be great.
Ok.
Come on, Scald, you
Allez,
never failed me.
le brûle.
You never failed me, Scald. You're my favorite move in the game right next to Draco Meteor. Don't fail me, buddy. Don't fail me.
Non, pas la brûlure.
I need a Scald burn first. I need a Scald burn just to get him down. Come on. Fire Blast is not gonna kill though. I have rest. I know his full move. Are you kidding me, bro? Damn, man. Come on, burn him!
Ah, il veut pas.
So if I burn, I can at least switch and then try. Come on, man. Burn could have actually won me the game because it's 12%. So he wouldn't be... Crit EQ does not kill. So he wouldn't be recovering. And he's flinched me down again. And he crit me. Good game.
Ah, il y a le boss.
Good game.
GG's.
Good game. Gen 8.
Gen 8 it is.
I'm about to Dynamax. You're not doing this to me anymore.
That's fair.
Nah, you played that well.
Good luck.
You too.
Allez.
Heck yeah. Oh, revenge of it.
Oh, il y a vous Buffett.
Okay. Nice, I burnt it. That was for Scald.
Oui, il est bien. Là, franchement, il commence bien.
That was for, and he got a nice turn when I burnt it. Let's go, baby. Ooh, I'm feeling this Gen 8. I'm feeling this Gen 8. Mmm, that's spicy. I don't have any. I do have one setup on though. That's for my homie Young Slow, bro. Maybe, you know why? I think he Dynamax turn 1 if Chandelier is actually a giant threat. So that means Chandelier is definitely a giant threat versus his team. Like 100% a giant threat.
Ah, c'est possible, c'est possible.
You would only
Il est smart, il est smart, il est
you have
smart.
a really garbage team. That's the only reason. Hey, by the way, if you're watching this, we got 2,000 people here. Make sure you leave a follow. And you know what? I pay bills. Feel free to subscribe. If all 2,000 of you guys sub, I can survive another 2 months. Hey, Diabetic Snorlax, thank you. Look at all you, thank you. Oh, that's another 3 months.
Oh, il va mourir à cause de la boule.
Hey, we got Free Fly. Vitamin, Egghead, thank you for the primes. Thank you guys, appreciate all the subs. Kenna, thank you for the oh my god, we're surviving. Almost 4 months, bro. 15-2. Shoot. A nice little hype train. Pie, thank you so much.
Ok, vous Buffett.
Edible, thank you, thank
Le
you,
bot,
Dragon
le
Knight.
goat et What Buffett.
Devon's is well gifted. I can't wait for the marathon either. It's gonna be nice, man. I do like the team we have here as well. Look at this Psychic Core, baby. Woo! Finally, I feel like I'm up. I feel like I'm actually up, man. He went for counter. He went for counter to stop it. Get this threat out of here.
Oh!
Taser, appreciate you. Thank you.
Non.
Unfortunately,
Oh là là.
Corey's going to end this turn because he went for counter before. LT White, thank you. David, thank you. Thank you
Il est
guys
plus
for the
rapide.
subs.
Il est
Appreciate
plus
it.
rapide.
How am I doing in the tournament? I've dropped my first game versus Lowig.
Oh, c'est raté, Focus Blast.
All right. Hey, Clueless gifted 5 subs as well. Thank
Ça,
you.
c'est
Look at this
pas de chance.
sub-train. Look at this sub-train go. Ah. That was honestly a good play, though, going for counter to avoid Miracle. Oh, my God. No, thank you. Please, no. And you have Toxic, too.
Thunder Wave.
Relax, bro.
Oh, Wish.
Hey, hella threatens my team.
Scold. Il essaie de brûler. Il fait Thunder Wave. Ok, Thunder Wave.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Oh là là.
You. Shouldn't matter. This guy's weakness policy, though, that's the problem. Need you, buddy. Be on my side, please. I got options. It's not over yet. Hell yeah.
Oh my god, DG.
Okay, okay. Alright. He still has Vaporeon, bro. Giant threat.
C'est vrai que Vaporeon, il a pas grand chose. Il a peut-être Tauros, il peut peut-être le gérer avec Tauros.
Man. 61 max. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay, as long as you couldn't kill me. I was just scared he might be able to kill me. I was still scared he couldn't kill me. I was really scared. Plus, he can get full paralyzed here. Let's see if he got the skull break.
Brûlure. Ok, il a pas eu la
He did
brûlure.
not. Let's go. He doesn't have protect, so that's. I mean, that's great.
Attends, là il attaque en premier, ouais, vu qu'il était brûlé. Il peut se faire par là, il peut se faire par là, il peut se faire par là. Ah, il se fait par là. Oh là là, double body slam qui tue. Ok, il faut que le blast qui touche cette fois.
No, I don't think Max Knuckle was the play. I know I have Dynamax, don't worry. I don't know what his last is though. Please don't be a Kartana. Please do not be a Kartana. Please do not be a Kartana.
Ok.
Horse, thank God.
Max Chaser, ok.
I win regardless if he goes back. The threat out of here.
Oh là là là, le Max Chaser, il a bien entendu pour le petit Damax qui fait Max Chaser et qui tue.
But if he doesn't die, he can't even burn me. Woods, appreciate the 6. Good game.
Monstre.
Good job, good job. So what do I get to pick from?
What did you ban? 6 and 7?
Yeah, that's right.
And I banned 1 and 2, and we already played 5, so I think 3 or 4. Yeah. Well, are we allowed to play the same things again?
I'm not sure. Do you want a gentleman's to Gen 5 again?
I do, for the run back. But Gen 4 or 3 sounds more fun. But I wouldn't mind for the run back if they're around with that. If they're okay with that, I'm fine with it.
I think at the end of the day, if the competitors choose something, tournament organizers have 0 power.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's do it. Gen 5 me.
All right, let's just go Gen 5. I think it's a good idea.
Ok.
Run back.
Good luck, buddy.
Good luck, man.
Gen 5, Gen 5. Oh, il est pas mal là.
This team is actually sick. Agreed.
Attends, il est bien là. Il a low class. Il a Serperior. J'ai pas vu ses autres, mais il est là déjà. Juste les deux là, il est pas mal.
I look forward to playing you. Okay. Oh, hello, brother.
Oh, il donne Power Fire en plus.
If you have a better set of Sceptile than me, I'm gonna be a little bit sad, considering Life Orb Mixed was better.
Ok, acrobatique. Oh, ok. Ça tue pas. Shirashi, Terrakium. Oh, mais il est bien. Tout en qu'à faire.
I'm not gonna save an advantage if it means I win the game. Screw it. I'm not saving any advantage. This is Gen 5. Crits are scary. I can't risk Jirachi. Look at that. Look at this man. Pretty sure if you're acrobatics, that means you're not rock slide either.
Hmm.
Let's see what he has. Oh, it actually broke my sub. I'm gonna be real. I'm actually impressed. I'm a little impressed it broke my sub. I'm gonna be real.
Ça va.
He encored me? That's fine. I don't want to switch on Toxic.
Oh, le Giga Drain par contre là. Et c'est quoi comme marque? Samyang. J'ai jamais goûté cela.
When I had a Torkoal on this, it wasn't that good. I don't know why I'm mono sub. Oh, you demon, bro. That's a fire lava. What if I got burnt?
Ok.
Oh shoot, that monkey died, bro.
S'il arrive à poser un giga drain sur,
Oh, thank you.
sur le barbicha.
On for it. Let's get
Oh
the throw
là
out of
là.
there.
Oi, 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 oi.
That whiz cat scary low key, bro. I can't believe I got that roll versus Torko. It's 83 to 1. It's like 86 to 103, guys. Oh yeah, whiz cash about to be scary, right? Not Deoxys attack.
Oh. No classe, ok.
Fine.
C'est
This
ok.
forces it. I think
Ah,
this forces it to go
s'il y a un
straight back.
freeze, c'est le meilleur.
No, dude,
truc de
Psycho
l'univers.
Boost does too much.
Ouais. Il est trop rapide. Toxic Roost. Oh.
Psycho Boost does way too much. Why would I go Rachi when I have Lugia? The GOAT. Alright, so we got damn. Hey, Showcash, thanks for the sub as well. Put that off there. We don't know if he has heal bell though. It does.
Hmm. Ok, il fait belle, du coup il a le free substitute.
And now he can't break my sub. Let's go! The Great Wall!
Hmm?
Yeah, multi
Okay.
doesn't affect sub durability. I don't even know if a para would stop me from winning. Four hit bells left. Just Aeroblast, what's the holdup? That Mon resist Aeroblast? Roost, appreciate that, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Oh là là, mais gros,
Why is
il est
Aeroblast?
trop bien.
This is flying type and
Le
resistant.
Lugia. L'objet de 2. Non mais bro, c'est le Lugia, c'est pas un tank là, c'est la grande muraille.
Billionaire, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you. 3 heal bells left, baby. Much love, Ninja. 3 legendaries installing. This is so cringe. You know that you have the option to come here to twitch.tv/pogame. You could click off. Don't know if you knew that though. Look at all the subs for the subs. Hey fellas, is it cringe to win? I definitely chose these mons. Thank you, Agent. B.
Ah. Il y a lui encore par contre.
Okay.
Ice Punch, Wish. Ok, ok.
There's no way you break my sub as well. 1 heal bell left. No, you have fun? Well, when you're given 6 random Pokemon to do something with, by all means have fun. What am I supposed to do though?
Est-ce qu'il est bon?
Like, what am I supposed to do? Sell Lugia. Alright, we got... Nobody knows you're right. This is a competitive Pokemon channel. Literally no one shares your opinion. No, I got enough.
Ouh. Oh, avec le
I've had
wish.
enough. You're right. It's really
Like a
cringe
wish.
to just 100% win. So let's throw.
Oh là là là.
There
Allez,
you go.
Terrakium,
Nicely
fini.
thrown. Now we get killed. Hey V, thank you so much for the 5 gifties. That should be game. Trap is all I can do. He encores me, I'm gonna click Giga Drain anyway. Like, there was nothing that could be done that turn. He goes Deoxys and loses. It's a wrap. That's a wrap. Deoxys is gonna take like 1,000,000% from this, bro. He's gonna die. Alright, that's a good game. That's it. We did it. Thank you. We're in semifinals now. Are you gonna complain about that Protect too? He said good game. Hobo House said good game. I'll draft it in the chat.
Eh bah, bien joué. Le monstre, le monstre.
Alright, we make it to semis.
Hey, GG.
Hey, good game, man.
Le monstre. Franchement, il savait quoi faire à chaque instant, chaque seconde et tout. Franchement, rien à dire. Rien à dire, les gars. Rien à dire. Ah, il recopie le mec. Y'a quoi? Terry Queens? Vraiment? Je savais pas qu'il avait des trucs.
With the 9th overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors drafted a 20-year-old big out of the University of South Carolina. He's shown incredible upside very early on.
Ça m'a pas.
With the 13th overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the New Orleans Pelicans drafted a big man out of Maryland. He's a very fun player to watch with his passing and scoring ability at his size. He has incredible potential and upside, and his name, it's Mr. Derek Queen. Welcome to Basketball Intuition. I'm your host, Ethan Simon. Today, we're going to be talking about Derek Queen of the New Orleans Pelicans. To start, we're going to be talking about his skill set, and later, we'll talk about team stuff and his fit. But real quick, I just want to ask, is it the consensus that everybody is out on Willie Green at this point? Yes? Cool, great. No? Why? We're going to start with DQ's build, his playmaking, dribble handoff, pick and roll work, scoring, and defense, and then the other stuff at the end. Okay, so Mr. Queen is 20 years old, turning 21 in late December of this year. On the court with shoes, of course, he is 6'10" with a 7'1.5" wingspan.
Oh, no, no.
And when it comes to his weight, he listed at 250, so give or take. And then if we talk about his athleticism, he doesn't have the most athletical build, but you didn't draft Derek Queen for his athleticism, you drafted him for his skill set. And the last thing before we talk about his playmaking, passing, is he does play with a lot of passion and excitement and joy. It's difficult right now to be joyful on the Pelicans, but he's doing as good of a job as he can, I feel like. Now, the most intriguing part about Derek Queen's game, in my opinion, of course, is his passing ability. And this is something we've seen grow through these first 9 games of his career. Earlier in the season, he didn't seem as willing to make those gambly tight bounce passes and stuff like that. But with more time, he has been getting more comfortable, and he's going to continue to get more comfortable with these tough passes. We're talking about a quick decision maker with his ability to make those long one-arm passes and the bounce passes. He can punish double teams, and my favorite and most impressive passes that we've seen him make are in that high post, top of the key area, really just anywhere in the middle of the court. And for bigs especially, that's where they're able to be the most effective as the core of an offense or the hub of the offense. Because if you throw doubles at a big in the middle of the court, you're open a lot of passing opportunities. And Derek Queen is able to punish that. He's able to make those passes to cutters, those lobs and bounce passes. Those 2 that he threw up to Trey Murphy were absolutely ridiculous, by the way. But again, the angles that he's able to take.
Ouais, mais par contre, il les envoie un peu mal. C'est
or he's getting double teamed. It's really impressive at his young age that he has such good vision and accuracy, especially on those bounce passes. He's able to throw it one hand, two hand. And also when we talk about those one-handed passes, he's able to make those quick swing passes that are super zippy and accurate. And again, you put all these things together and you get a guy that's able to use his patience alongside his skill set. By the way, I didn't say that, but he's able to be very patient as a passer and take his time, which I really like. Very poised in that area. Posting up Devin Vassell, he gets a double team thrown at him from Jeremy Sohan. He just retreats a little bit and waits for an option. Herb Jones sees he needs some help, and Derek Queen is able to use the baseline to make a tough bounce pass to Herb for good too. And it's not only these quick little passes to cutters in the half court, but he's also to make long go-ahead passes in the transition. He is able.
En vrai, c'est pas s'ils sont pas extraordinaires. C'est pas les plus belles que j'ai vues. Hein. J'ai vu mieux. Bon, là, il y a le LA ici. Du coup, demain, on regarde la finale, les gars. Demain, c'est finale. Ouais, montre-nous ça. Waouh, il ressemble. Il a tous les trucs là, boum, boum, boum.
The 2K26 meta at all, but in the right hands, it works. We got a Ben Wallace build. First center build I have made this year. Built all about defense and rebounding. We got that sick Ben Wallace jersey from the defensive specialization. Now let's get to the build. Start off with the build. We went center, 6'9", 247 pounds, 7'3" wingspan. Pretty much all the metrics Ben Wallace has on the game. You can. The main points that we want are the 99 defensive rebound for that legend rebound chaser, and we have the agility at 76. So if you do want that 85 perimeter down the line, you could do that, and the strength being at 95. Currently 96 here, but 95 key point that we need. We already know the first 3 categories aren't going to be that impressive, so I'll quickly go through them. We got 70 driving dunks, so you get a lot of the basic dunk packages. 81 standing dunks, so you get that silver rise up. You can improve it if you need. Just click on the links in the description, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Now we are in the gameplay portion of the video. As I mentioned before, this build's not going to be for everyone. This build is pretty difficult for the average person to play on, and that's mainly because you have to get creative when you're on the offensive end. You're quick, but you gotta be able to hit the screens, you gotta be able to read the offense. You're not gonna have the super high driving dunk and standing dunk, especially the big man contact dunks to bail you out. So you got to be able to pick your spots.
Ces rebonds, ils sont pas ouf là.
Help out on offense and in other ways, which. Hey, that's Ben Wallace. I knew I could take on the challenge by setting big screens. One of the biggest problems people have with setting screens is they stand there holding the circle or B button and just expect the defender to run into them.
Oh mon dieu, le bloc il était incroyable celui-là.
You are standing 5 feet away.
Ah non, là il y a faute. Là, faute, il venait sur le côté.
Putting your hands over your crotch area, and you're just expecting the defender to run into you? No. People are smarter than that.
Il a pas faute là.
They will just run
sur les anciens en tout cas, il y aurait peut-être eu faute là.
And it's not like the past couple years you actually have to be in pretty decent position in order for the screen to hit. So by doing that, you have to take initiative, run to the player you want to hit, and hit them. A lot of times, centers, they sit a little too low, and they just allow the defenders to just...
Attends, ça rentre ça? Ça rentre ça?
No, you gotta make sure there's not a lot of space between you and the point guard as he's running right by you.
Les animations par contre, elles sont vraiment pas mal. Le bloc genre, il est beau là.
Whenever I decide to upgrade the strength and being able to hit people with some pretty tough screens forces the other guy to step up. And I have 80 speed.
Par contre, son écran il met trop de temps après à roll.
Whoever is in the pick and roll with me,
24 secondes,
unless they do put a power forwards should have higher than 80 speed.
Ouais, mais le pivot adverse, c'est un bot. Il fait rien.
Would this build hold up in Pro-Am? Not really. And like going back to before, where this build's tough to play on, like some teams in the rec might just play that 2-3 zone. A lot of average teams don't know how to beat a 2-3 zone with 5 shooters. And with only having 4 shooters.
Ah, il n'y a pas eu de N1. Et franchement, son build, il est pas mal. J'aime bien. J'aime bien son build. Il est bien. Il change quoi. Et franchement, c'est ça qu'il faut. Bon, sur ce, par contre, les kids, moi je vais vous laisser là-dessus. Je vous dis, passez une bonne journée, une bonne soirée. Et demain, finale LAIC. Normalement, il y aura aussi la finale peut-être de la Wolves League. Du coup, on regardera ça. Et du coup, je vous dis à demain. Bisous, ciao.